Hey, what's up, VIP fam? Houston here. Look, if you have poor credit, you can't go to the banks and get a credit card. You can't go to the banks and get a loan. They won't show you any love. Well, I'm going to show you some third-party creditors that will be willing to help you. All right. That being said, the first one that you want to check out is Zolve. Zolve is a new debit card, credit card type of thing. Now, it was based off people in India, but you can use the credit card to build up credit in the US. So it doesn't discriminate. So anybody can use this card. And how it works, basically, you open up a account with them, a savings, a checking account with them. All right, and they go up to $10,000, and all of your debit card transactions is reported to the credit bureaus. Okay, now I know some of you are like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar. Well, it is familiar because you heard of Extra Debit Card App, and where Extra Debit Card App, again, it adds up all your debit card transactions, and then at the end of the month, it reports to the credit bureau. Now, with the Extra Debit Card app, you can download it on your phone. They report to Experian and Equifax. All right. So those are the first two you want to start with. Then the next one you want to start with is Patel. Okay. So with Patel, you don't have to have a social. You don't have to have a credit history. They start at 300, soft pull on the credit. Again, like I said, even if you don't have credit, they're still willing to work with you. So the Patel One credit card, 300 up to 5,000. All right. And because they're using different data metrics, so instead of them focusing on your credit score, they more or less focus on, do you have bank deposits? How long you been on the job? How long you been at your place of residence? Okay, do you have active email? Do you have an active bank account? Active phone number? This is what these creditors look at. Now, one thing I want to say, the reason that I'm choosing these type of cards is because you don't have to pay that upfront fee. And many of you all are familiar with those credit cards. They say, yeah, we'll give you a credit card, but they charge this large upfront fee. So they give you a $300 credit card, unsecured credit card, but they don't charge their fees up first. So when you get the card to use the card, you maybe have like $100 on the card, right? Because they charge these fees, plus they charge maybe a monthly fee and then an annual fee. All right, so that's the reason that I'm actually trying to find the best cards that you can possibly leverage. Now, the next card is Optify. All right, and with the Optify card, it starts at $1,000 with good on-time payment history. After 6 months, they double it to $2,000. All right, now, again, you don't have to have a social credit history for that card. Then you have Opportune. Now with Opportune, another one of those creditors, they're not in every state, but those states that they do operate in, they give you a $300 credit card. Starting out, you don't have to have a social, so being able to get access to unsecured credit cards to help you start building your credit is why you want to try to take a look at these. Now, before we talk about the other credit cards, that's something I want to digress on for a minute so you can understand. Not only just having credit cards on your credit file, you need to have like a loan. All right. And so I know many of you, if you have poor credit, you're like, well, I can't get a loan from the bank. So what do I do? Well, there's a couple lenders out there. I call them tribal lenders because that's what they are. These are, how you go to the casino, you lose your money. So these tribal lenders take that money and they re-loan it out. They usually loan up to $5,000, okay? And so with a couple of these tribal lenders that you may want to take a look at, and I'll put a link below for some of these tribal lenders. You have IndyLand that loans up to $5,000. You have Uprover that loans up to $5,000. And then with Uprover, your payments, they would actually report your payments to help build up your credit, all right? Then you also have Funjoy that loans up to $5,000 as well. And again, these type of lenders, they're not pulling the credit because they already know you possibly have challenging credit. So they're not going to do a hard inquiry on the credit file. Now, something else that you do need to know, if you're trying to get a loan, with some lenders, they may not pull from the regular credit bureaus, okay? They may not pull from the regular credit bureau. What they do, they may use the credit bureau's third-party systems like Clarity, which is owned by Experian. They may use DataX, which is owned by Equifax. They may use Factor Trust, which is owned by TransUnion, or they may use LexisNexis, okay? Not all the way. Not always, because one of the bigger things is they want to see if you have an active bank account, do you have deposits, or do you have regular income. So even if you're on disability, welfare, Social Security, retirement, as long as you have a steady flow of income, some of these tribal lenders will be willing to work with you. All right, so I just wanted to share that with you, and the reason I'm telling you about that loan, because it's another one that's coming up of Capital One Platinum. Now, here's the interesting thing about Capital One Platinum is that they have a secured card. Now, with their secured card, you put $49 down and they give you a $200 credit card, okay? And the reason that I added Capital One is because they usually have low-hanging fruit. So even though you may have poor credit, if you haven't taken advantage of them or burnt them, then you may end up with a higher limit credit card without even doing the secured card, okay? So that's the reason that I'm telling you about them. Then you have Mission Lane. Now, I just made a video about Mission Lane. They credit cards start at about $300. Soft pull. When you accept a card, they may do a hard inquiry on your TransUnion. Okay, but at the same time, a lot of people, they like Mission Lane. They having success with Mission Lane. I know a lot of people was trying to figure out how to double their limits with Mission Lane. From Mission Lane's from the understanding I have about Mission Lane, is usually after 7 months, they start looking at your transactions and stuff like that to determine if they want to increase your limits. All right. So for those of you that already have a Mission Lane card and trying to figure out why haven't they increased your limits, that may be one reason. Also, to my understanding, if you're utilizing the card, if you're not utilizing the card, a lot of creditors, they're like, well, why should we give you more money? So you actually have to be utilizing the card. Now, here's a secret that I would tell you guys. Once you get these here cards, if you're able to use at least 10%, not 30%, but 10%, what's going to happen, because you're adding all these positive trade lines onto the credit file and you're keeping the utilization under 10%, you're going to see a big jump in your credit score. Okay, so that's the reason that you want to add on so many positive accounts. Now, here's another thing in terms of some of you all may have just too thin of a file, okay? And you're trying to age your credit file. The best way to do that is to sign up with a rental company. So if you're paying rent, one of these credit cards, you would sign up with Plastic, and then you would make your rental transactions through Plastic, and they'll send a check out to pay your rent instead of you using cash and money order. Okay. Now, with some of these companies that that report rent and stuff, what they do, they will be able to backdate as long as you've been in the been paying your rent. So if you've been with in a housing place or whatever, apartment or something like that, or house, and you've been paying your rent through your checking account or something like that for the past 3 or 4 years, well, they can use that to help age your credit file. All right, so that's just a little secret I wanted to share with you. Now, the other credit card that you want to take a look at is Credit AI. Again, it's all about the deposits. As long as you have an active bank account with regular deposits and stuff like that, Credit AI will give you a credit card up to $1,500 limit. Now, the last card, this card, they would actually give you up to $10,000, and that's the Tomo MasterCard, okay? And you can actually get this card with no credit history or no social. So with this here Tomo card, it goes from 100 up to 10,000, all right? So for those of you that's struggling with your personal credit, you need help removing negative items off your credit, student loans, car repossessions, you have questions about what it is you should be doing and how to actually address these issues, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation and let me review your credit file so I can tell you exactly what to do. Also, we do have the new credit book coming out. Hopefully, we're going to drop it by the end of March. So that way, for those of you that want to repair your own credit and stuff, you'll actually know exactly what to do. I've been in the credit industry over 2 decades, so I have a lot of knowledge to share. And I think for many of you that want to do it yourself and take all the guesswork out of if I'm doing it right, you definitely want to get access to this book. All right, so this is Houston with Three-Way Funding. If you have any questions, again, click the link in the description and schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.